It's really nice to have all of you here tonight with me. The Wednesday night thing is a special thing. There's not always a whole lot of us here, but it's wonderful because the folks who are here because you've made that decision to show up and be part of this Wednesday event. So thank you so much for being here. This month our theme is living as compassionate conduits. And my talk title tonight is We Are Spirit in Action. So what is a conduit? Well, it is a channel or a pipeline through which things move easily and freely. We know of pipelines as delivery systems for oil or water, other liquids or gases, things of that nature. And electrical wiring is another conduit. It's a delivery system for electricity. And when we flip the switch, it moves through the wire. In the oceans and great waterways of the world, there are channels of oceanic flow that ships have mapped out so they know they are meeting resistance in some places, or they use them to be able to pass through them quickly and speed their passage. Currently, we're experiencing an atmospheric river flow here. Now, an atmospheric river is a new term that the meteorology people just started with this past year, and it is actually a channel of atmospheric water moving over the oceans, and it has certainly brought some much needed rain in beneficial quantities to our region in the last several days. So what does it really mean to be a conduit or a channel of compassion? The Ernest Holmes definition for love is that love is the self-givingness of spirit of itself to all creation as we emanate from it as unique individuations. As such, we are always connected, always one with spirit, like rays of the sun, always individual, yet always connected to that source light. As we become more aware of that connection, we open to receiving the love of spirit, recognizing that there is a presence and a power in the universe, and we can use that power for good. Now, that power is the creative medium of spirit. It's what we call the law or mind, and we call mind the law because it reacts to thought, words, or as we think our thoughts, without censorship, bias, or judgment. When we speak our words, think our thoughts, divine mind begins to work on that direct impress immediately. Now, it doesn't always manifest immediately because some things take time on this plane of existence where we observe time and space as separate entities. And if you think about it, it's probably a good thing because if you consider all the things that we have ever said or thought we might really want or desire, the planet could really be flooded with a lot of stuff. At least it would have been when my son was young, because there wasn't anything that wasn't out there that he didn't want right now. So I do know that we could have had a big glut of stuff, and we could still continue to have that. Recognizing the presence is within us instead of outside of us, we interact through meditation and contemplation to increase our sense of awareness and our connection with spirit. As we contemplate on spiritual qualities, and I do like the way Judge Thomas Troward simplified them. He named them 7 of them, and they are life, light, love, peace, power, beauty, and joy. As we contemplate those, we begin to be more aware of expressing those spiritual qualities in our actions. Now, Troward also wrote that as we embody those qualities to the greatest extent, we become spiritual beings to a greater extent. We become, in his terms, divine distributors, or delivery systems of the divine, conduits. conduits through which we express qualities through which our actions create a world that works for all. Now that is where living as conduits of compassion comes in. We heard Ricky Byers-Beckwith sing with that wonderful song, Use Me, when we started the service. Use me, oh God. And it is a testament to opening to spirit and being guided on how we can deliver more compassion in the world. Just as spirit creates with love from the self-givingness of itself to each of us, being its own delivery system of life, so too are we divine distributors, or the delivery system of compassion and love. We are the FedEx, the UPS, the Postal Service, and the DHL of the world. Now, it could be in this technology and information sharing time, some of us feel that we're more like the Pony Express. But just remember that the Pony Express always promised to deliver. And it was the Pony Express that actually gave birth to catalogs. As the Pony Express folks would carry the letters back and forth from the West Coast to the East Coast and take orders for things from either coast and bring them back, the businesses began to send lists, and those became the first catalogs. And so there's something to be said about the Pony Express. So if you don't feel like you're quite up to speed with technology, stick with it, because you can still be a delivery system, a divine distributor for spirit. Not to worry. And you know, the Pony Express at that time was a pretty amazing delivery system. They took 10 days off of the time that it took to get a letter or a parcel from one coast to the other. They rode 80 hours nonstop. Amazing to me to think about going across country like that on a horse that long. Ooh. I don't want to tell you what part of my body feels bad right now, but I'm sure you can imagine and agree with it on your own. The most important thing to know is this. As we open to becoming greater divine distributors of compassion, we participate in creating a world that works for all. We are the delivery system for spirit in this world. We have the full support of spirit at all times. We can count on that. And as we spend time in meditation or contemplation, using our affirmative prayers, it brings us even closer to the awareness of that divine presence within us as we first practice compassion with ourselves. There's that old adage, charity begins at home. Well, I rewrite that to say compassion begins at home. Be compassionate with yourself first. Practice being an observer in your life without judgment and criticism for every thought or action that you take. We all make mistakes, and we all are at choice every minute of the day. That's one of our spiritual principles that I so love. We are always at choice. And principle, spirit within us, is never bound by precedent or the past. There's nothing from our past that can affect or change our future if we choose to release it and make a new life-affirming choice. So as we make new choices, life-affirming choices, and shower ourselves with compassion as we move along our life's journey, we don't have to try to be perfect. We are already perfect expressions of the divine, just the way that we are, and as we say on Sunday, just the way that we are not. God doesn't look at us and say, oh, look at that one, they're doing it again. No, God's just there to love us, to have compassion, to have an infinite supporting presence in us around us and through us. As we approach the holiday season, things get a little tense, people get a little cranky, and we're living under some very interesting, unusual circumstances right now, which tend to make everybody just a hair more sensitive. So let's focus on being compassionate with ourselves first and allowing that overflow of compassion to propel us into being delivery systems of compassion to everyone and everything we encounter along the way. Let's be a little more gentle with everyone that we pass by. Smile more. Give a little space at the aisles in the supermarket. Try not to cuss when there's not enough paper towels and toilet paper on the shelves. And just remember that we live in an abundant universe. So regardless of what the shelves look like, there is always enough for all of us, of everything. And as we have that patience and compassion with ourselves as we go through these days and things continue to improve, let's just open our hearts and invite Spirit to use us, knowing without question that we are Spirit in action. And so it is. And so, as is our custom, I would just like to have us do a little prayer here. Oh, and as we enter into that perfect, loving, divine presence of Source, it doesn't matter what you call it. It can be Spirit, God, Christ consciousness, Buddha, Jesus, Allah. Call it Shirley, call it Floyd. It doesn't matter. It's Spirit. It's the source of all life. It is that one infinite love that I know that supports and creates all creation equally, without judgment, without favor. And so right now I speak a word for each of us here and for all of those who are not. I speak a word of love and ease and peace as the grace of that loving presence, Spirit, flows through each and every one of our lives, blessing and clearing the paths with the illumination of the light that is the source of all life. I know that this has been a divine appointment in the mind of God. I know that each and every person here is blessed until we meet again. And I just call this time good and very, very good, knowing that love always prevails. And as I release this word into the law of mind that always, always says, yes, my beloveds, yes, I know with faith and absolute trust that it is already so, and so it is. And now, if you would like to, we will have our prosperity affirmation. Yes, we will. And I'm going to type it into, let me see here. I got to put it into the thing so that we can do it. I meant to do that before, but it's okay. Okay, so here it is. I am a delivery system for abundance and prosperity as I share my love with all. So you can make your donation, write a check, do whatever, and it's with great, great gratitude and appreciation that I give thanks for all the support our center has had through the time that we have not been able to be together. We are delivery systems for abundance and prosperity, and we do share our love with everyone. And so I just bless these gifts. I bless the prosperity and abundance of everyone in our center as we share our gifts with the entire universe. For there's always giving and receiving, and as we give, so we must receive. And so it is. So it is now time for our candle lighting service. This is the part of the service where we speak to inclusivity in a deeper way. And I just want to, at this time, recognize Reverends Leslie Goodwin and Reverend Karen Lewis from New Vision Center in Phoenix, Arizona. They put together this lighting of our inclusion candles ceremony. And as Nancy Yee lights our candle, it symbolizes the lighting of all the candles as I speak these words. We acknowledge that all people, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit, and we honor and acknowledge them wherever they are on their journey. We light a candle for all who feel isolated. We stand with you and know the presence of the One is active in your life. We light a candle for all who feel silenced. We stand with you and know that openness is here for you. We light a candle for all who feel rejected. We stand with you and know that divine acceptance is your truth. We light a candle for all who feel unloved. We stand with you and know that compassion surrounds you. We light a candle for all who feel in lack. We stand with you and know the truth of abundance in your life. We light a candle for all who feel afraid. We stand with you and know the peace that passes all understanding is with you now. We light a candle for all who feel lost. We stand with you and know that wisdom guides you and leads you to where you are meant to be. And as we light the flame for the last time, just bring yourself to the forefront of your mind and allow someone to come into your mind with you whom you want to bless, knowing without a doubt that your love and your light heals and comforts as you bless them. And so it is.